Hold on to your seats, dear viewers, because what we're about to reveal will leave you absolutely stunned. Can you believe that Ashton Kutcher, yes, that Ashton Kutcher, our beloved Hollywood heartthrob who's been parading around as a crusader against human trafficking, might have been desperately trying to bury his involvement in a scandal so explosive it could absolutely destroy everything he's built?
Dewdrop is in Liz McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18, along with the Olsen twins. Any 15-year-old...
Oh, honey, they say the truth is like a stubborn stain. It always shows up eventually. And when it does, it's about to drag some of Hollywood's most untouchable elite right into the harsh spotlight. Now let's talk about our supposed golden boy, Ashton Kutcher. You know him, the charming face who's positioned himself as this incredible champion for justice, especially through his work with Thorn, the organization he co-founded to combat human trafficking.
My day job is as the chairman and the co-founder of Thorn. We build software to fight human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. And that's our core mission. My other day job is that of the father of two, a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's raped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness of another. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia. And this child was so conditioned by her environment that she thought she was engaging in play. I've been on the other end of a phone call from my team asking for my help because we had received a call from the Department of Homeland Security telling us that a 7-year-old girl was being sexually abused and that content was being spread around the dark web. And she had been being abused and they'd watched her for 3 years. And they could not find the perpetrator, asking us for help. We were the last line of defense. An actor and his foundation were the potential last line of defense. That's my day job, and I'm sticking to it. Can we build the tools that are better than their tools to fight what's happening? There are sites in the United States that do this other than Backpage, a lot of them, in fact. There are sites internationally that are doing this. There are other sites. It's happening all over the place. It's been happening for decades in print media.
But darlings, brace yourselves, because recent revelations surrounding the absolutely shocking case against Sean Diddy Combs have thrown Kutcher's squeaky clean reputation into absolute chaos. And here's the tea. Powerhouse attorney Tony Buzbee, who's representing, are you ready for this? Over 120 of Diddy's alleged victims, has just dropped a bombshell. He's revealed that certain A-listers are desperately throwing money around, paying settlements left and right to keep their names from being dragged through the mud in court. And Ashton, a recently resurfaced clip of him laughing off questions about Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, has everyone's eyebrows raised to the ceiling. Could our supposed hero, our champion of justice, be hiding something far more sinister? Could he be complicit in Hollywood's darkest, most twisted secrets?
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, a Factor exclusive tonight. Famed Houston attorney Tony Buzbee is taking on Sean P. Diddy Combs. Today, Buzbee confirmed to me he has been retained by at least, get this, 55 people who are suing the hip-hop mogul. Buzbee says those cases vary from sex assault to sexual abuse and trafficking. They're expected to be filed in about a week or so in court. Buzbee also expects a number of plaintiffs to continue to rise, but he did not indicate to me where all of the alleged victims are located. These cases are all civil cases and not criminal. Buzbee says he will make a public statement on Friday.
Now, let me tell you about Tony Buzbee. Buzbee. And trust me, this isn't your average suit-wearing lawyer. He's an absolute pit bull in the courtroom, currently leading what might be the most explosive sexual abuse case Hollywood has ever seen. The numbers are staggering. Over 120 victims have come forward with absolutely horrifying allegations against Diddy. We're talking about drug-fueled parties that spiraled into scenes of coercion, violence, and abuse. The details will turn your stomach. Minors, violence, and a culture of silence so deeply entrenched that even witnesses are now being hunted down by the courts.
Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement.
Here's where it gets juicy. Buzbee has been sending out demand letters to several celebrities, warning them about impending lawsuits. And while he's keeping those names under wraps for now, he's dropped some major hints that we're talking about household names. Celebrities who weren't just innocent bystanders. No. These are people who either actively participated or knowingly turned a blind eye. In Buzbee's own chilling words, if you were in the room, if you watched, if you helped cover it up, you have a problem. His message is crystal clear. Settle now or face public exposure.
In his office on the 73rd floor of Chase Tower,
We can see the entire city.
Tony Buzbee has sharks everywhere. Shark door handles, a sculpture, and not just any shark, the great white.
Now we're the biggest and we're the baddest and we're just floating around looking for something to eat.
Typical Buzbee. Talks big, lives big.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
A man who throws multi-million-dollar holiday parties with entertainers like Snoop Dogg. Collects exotic cars and expensive art.
Look how beautiful that is.
It's gorgeous.
This one's like $3 million.
A lifestyle paid for by his tenacity in the courtroom.
Somebody described me once as a bulldozer with a flamethrower. I thought that was fairly accurate.
What do we call this, the Wall of Fame? On his wall, articles on court victories and high-dollar settlements against big oil companies. He often represents families of workers who've been killed or maimed on the job.
I don't get paid to be nice. I don't get paid, I'm not your counselor. I'm the guy that goes out and kicks ass for you and gets you checks like that.
And this is where Ashton Kutcher's name starts popping up in whispered conversations. A 2019 interview on Hot Ones has resurfaced, and oh my goodness, you need to see this. There's Kutcher, nervously laughing when asked about Diddy's parties, saying with this knowing smirk, "I've got a lot I can't tell." You can literally see him cycling through memories he's desperate to keep buried. And then he drops this bomb. Diddy party stories, weird man, the way he says it.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together. And he came over, and I was like, I'm going for a run. He's like, oh, I'll go for a run with you. And so he comes over to go for a run. About halfway through the run, he's like, yo, I'm running out of gas right now. But we had like paparazzi all around us at the time. He's like, you gotta slow down, but make it look like you're not slowing down.
Because he had to
I don't wanna look like I'm not gonna be able to finish this thing. And he was losing it, right? Like he was like me right now with the wings and the heat's starting to kick up. And he's like, and so we finish out the run. And then he was so upset over the fact that he got skunked on this run.
that year he decided to run the New York Marathon. And so he just started immediately training for the New York Marathon.
I like that. Bounce back.
Well, he just can't lose. Even when he's that close to humility, that like it becomes a driver, and so then he went out and ran the New York Marathon.
The tone might have been playful, but let me tell you, viewers were not amused. The timing couldn't have been worse. This revelation coinciding with Diddy's arrest on federal charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and even worse crimes, devastating. Social media absolutely exploded. And while it might not be definitive evidence, people are connecting dots faster than a kindergartner with a coloring book. In the blink of an eye, Ashton wasn't just viewed as a bystander anymore. He became a suspect in the ruthless court of public opinion.
Breaking news, Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges. The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of rape, sexual assault, physical abuse, gun trafficking, and drug trafficking. On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges. Now, the charges haven't been made public just yet. In fact, the indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking.
Let's dig deeper, shall we? Ashton's connections to Diddy aren't just casual. They go back years. Both were fixtures in the same elite Hollywood circles, attending those exclusive events and after-parties where, as they say, anything could happen, and apparently D.A.D. For Kutcher, who spent years carefully crafting his image as this moral crusader, these connections now look questionable at best and absolutely damning at worst.
Yeah, don't get the after party that got in the dog. Uh-oh, Ashton is on the swing. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, God. Don't do that at home. Try again. Try one more time, Ashton. One more time. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Ruby Lou is in the house. He's on the swing. I need you to shake your little ass. It's a party. More in the house. You got King Porter in the house. We got the twins in the house. And I'm feeling worse. I'm not good in the house. Put some Dolo White and say with this chick with the fat fatty and the ring of cinnamon. Keep it responsibly with Ciroc, baby. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ciroc. Yeah. Woo! Come on! Clapping.
Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is fighting like cats in a bag to deny these allegations. They're trying to paint these so-called freak-off parties as nothing more than consensual gatherings among adults. But honey, the evidence tells a very different story. Investigators have uncovered absolutely damning evidence. We're talking seized documents, witness testimonies, and physical evidence including, are you sitting down? Over 1,000 bottles of lubricant and narcotics. The allegations stretch back over a decade, painting a horrifying picture of manipulation, violence, and silence bought with fear and money.
Major news this week out of New York, where now disgraced rapper Sean P. Diddy Combs was arrested and taken into custody. On Monday, a grand jury indicted him on multiple federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Homeland Security took Diddy into custody at the Park Hyatt in New York. According to his legal team, Diddy's been in the city for the past week ahead of these anticipated charges. So Diddy may have had a heads up that these charges were on the way, but it wasn't a complete surprise to the rest of us either. Federal investigators issued search warrants on 2 of Diddy's homes this spring, and that's when experts told us it's not if, but when Diddy will be arrested. We couldn't confirm then that Diddy was the target of the search, but we had a good idea what investigators were looking for: electronic evidence of alleged illegal acts like sexual assault or racketeering. These allegations date back to November of last year, when Cassandra Ventura, known publicly as the singer Cassie, filed civil suit against Diddy. She laid out some major claims against him, saying over the course of their relationship, Diddy physically and emotionally abused her, forced her to carry illegal weapons, and even made her have sex with prostitutes. The lawsuit was settled outside of court just one day after it was filed, but it was just the start of the wave of lawsuits that Diddy would soon face. Over the next few months, multiple other accusers came forward with civil suits, alleging Diddy's pattern of sexual abuse dated back as far as the 1990s. A civil suit filed by Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, brings these accusations into 2024. According to Lil Rod's lengthy suit, Diddy is the kingpin in a gun trafficking, drug trafficking, and sex trafficking scheme. Lil Rod also accused Diddy of sexual assault and echoed Cassie's allegation that Diddy forced him to have sex with a prostitute. Lil Rod's lawsuit includes something else that may have piqued the Fed's interest. He alleges there are hundreds of hours of video and audio recordings of Diddy's illegal behavior. We now know this is what the feds were searching for on March 25th, when they executed search warrants at Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. At the time, we only speculated that investigators collected electronic evidence, but now we know for sure. According to the indictment against Diddy, investigators seized more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from his home. The court doc states these items were used in something referred to as freak-offs, which were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded.
And here's the thing that makes this whole situation so incredibly ironic. Ashton isn't just any actor. He's someone who's built his entire reputation on being a champion for victims. This duality is what makes his involvement, or his alleged silence, so absolutely jarring. While there might not be direct evidence linking him to Diddy's alleged crimes, that resurfaced video, combined with Buzbee's cryptic comments, has cast an enormous shadow over everything Kutcher claims to stand for.
Because of the communication that exists, because of technology and the internet, you meet a stranger that has a similar interest to you, and next thing you know, you're sharing content around that particular interest. Well, that might happen with cars, and that might happen with hobbies, but it also happens with child pornography and human trafficking of underage children.
In 2004, when the National Center was receiving reports of potential child pornography, the volume was approximately 450,000 files. Recently, that number has expanded, and we've now received over 17 million.
The age of children is becoming increasingly younger, and it's more and more likely that individuals have not only child pornography, but child pornography with violent themes.
The offenders in these kinds of crimes do not match society's stereotype. These are people who are part of our community.
They have a craving to get more, and they want to share it with other people, and they create international and global networks of pedophiles sharing images of the people that they abuse.
A lot of these networks are actually moving this kind of content and actually moving human beings for money.
Pimps and traffickers no longer have to just, work the street. They can just place an ad and sit back and have their customers come to them wherever they might be.
People are posted and sold online multiple times a day. As far as the ad that was posted up, there was a girl who eerily looked like me. That was the picture they put up there for me on the ad. Just how you can go find a car, it was a picture and a description and a price.
The internet is being used for child sexual exploitation. And Thorn is the organization that said, let's go use technology and innovation to solve this issue.
We have to stay on the front cutting edge of that technology because the criminals, they're on the front cutting edge.
So what about Ashton Kutcher? The question that's keeping Hollywood up at night. Is he just another victim caught in Hollywood's web of silence, or has he been complicit all along? One thing's for certain, Tony Buzbee isn't stopping anytime soon, and the names he's about to reveal, they could completely rewrite Hollywood history as we know it.
There are other celebrities involved in the Diddy case, and some of their names may be coming out, according to the attorney who is representing more than 100 accusers now. Tony Buzbee, we spoke to him on TMZ Live, and he said that
a lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it. all of these individuals and entities, in my view, have exposure here.
He's actually sent demand letters saying this is what we know you're involved in.
He's saying involved in the sense that even if they didn't drug somebody or participate in that, he feels like they're liable to a point where they should pay up.
And now it just feels like a money grab.
On the other side, they call it legalized extortion.
If these celebrities were at that party, saw bad things happening, didn't say anything, they get what's coming to them.
What?
Because they should have spoke up.
We have an obligation to rat out everybody we know when they do bad things?
The world is about to learn the truth about Sean Diddy Combs and everyone who enabled his actions. But the question on everyone's lips, is Ashton Kutcher's name about to join the list of the disgraced? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shocking deep dives into the stories Hollywood is desperately trying to keep hidden. The truth is coming, and it's going to be explosive.